Welcome to the Startup to Exit podcast, where we will bring you world-class entrepreneurs and VCs to share their hard-earned success stories and secrets. This podcast has been brought to you by TIE Seattle. TIE is a global nonprofit that focuses on fostering entrepreneurship. TIE Seattle offers a range of programs, including the Go Vertical Startup Creation Weekend, TIE Entrepreneur Institute, and the TIE Seattle Angel Network. We encourage you to become a TIE member so you can gain access to these great programs. To become a member, please visit www.seattle.tie.org.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of From Startup to Exit. My name is Gauri Shankar. I'm a member of the board of TIE Seattle, a not-for-profit focused on fostering entrepreneurship. My co-host Shirish Natkarni, who's also a board member and a serial author now, has published his second book, Winner Take All. It's about marketplaces. It's available everywhere books are sold. Hope you'll read and enjoy that. And thanks to everybody who supported us in 2023. It's been a great ride for us. We started the podcast together, and it's been a great ride. And of course, thanks to the TIE Seattle team for keeping this thing going. Without much ado, let's me turn it over to Shirish to introduce our guest. Very exciting for us to talk about AI. And over to you, Shirish.
Thank you, Gauri. I'd like to welcome Vikram Chalana, who is the CEO of Pictory.ai. Vikram is an engineer turned serial entrepreneur. He's currently building Pictory.ai to enable anyone to turn their message into engaging videos quickly and easily. He previously created and scaled Win Shuttle, an enterprise software solution in the data management space. And he holds engineering degrees from the Indian Institute of Technology and from the University of Washington. So welcome, Vikram.
Thank you, Shirish. It's a pleasure to be here, and great to meet you, Gauri, as well.
Yeah.
Great. So, Vikram, we are very interested in your career as an entrepreneur. You started Winshuttle in 2003 and ran it for 14 years, a long time. What made you decide to become an entrepreneur?
I felt like it was always there. And I was working in engineering jobs, and it felt kind of unsatisfying until I actually started something and was able to run it. And I felt like that was what I was meant to do. So I don't know. It's just been one of those things, probably. I saw my grandfather was an entrepreneur, and I just watched him, and probably that's what inspired me.
Got it. So, so tell us more about what did Winshuttle do? What was the solution all about?
So Winshuttle was an enterprise software company, and the solution was actually really simple. It was something that connected. In the beginning, it was Excel connected with SAP. So a lot of large companies use SAP, but most business users prefer Excel. And so we built a very easy tool that was largely an Excel add-in that was able to pull data from SAP, push data from Excel to SAP, and we made it really easy. You don't need to be a programmer. You didn't need to be a ABAP developer. Any business user could do it. So we used to call it low-code way to kind of get data into SAP, but then at one point it was RPA for SAP. So we tried a bunch of different positioning statements, but it was very, very easy. And later we extended it to SharePoint and other Microsoft products, but it was largely connecting Microsoft Office and SAP.
So how did you come up with the idea of Winshuttle? What was the pain point that you were trying to address?
So actually, I'll give you the idea story after. First, I'll actually tell you the creation story. Because it's actually different from many startups that you probably talk to. Most people kind of start with the idea and build something and then try to find the product market fit. where I started was actually a little bit later. The idea was already there. There was an SAP consultant who I met who had developed this solution as a consulting solution for a couple of clients of his, and he was looking to continue in his SAP consulting role, and he was looking for somebody to build the business, to take this product and build the business around it. So me and my co-founders, we actually acquired the technology in 2003 from him. So the initial product market fit was already established. We felt like he had a half a dozen customers or so who had used the product and had paid him, and we got it like almost I would say at a pre-seed stage, and then we kind of scaled it from that point on to build a $50 million company over that time frame, that 14 years. So the start was a little different. So it wasn't my idea, but the idea was validated before we made the acquisition. We talked to a lot of SAP customers. We talked to a lot of potential users who would be using this, and we felt it was a really compelling solution for a problem that a lot of SAP users faced.
Got it. So, how did you bootstrap the company? Was it through your own funds, or did you raise any venture funding for the company?
So it was for the first 7 years completely bootstrapped it because there were some customers already there. We were able to quickly sell to other customers. We didn't raise any outside capital. We just were hyper capital efficient, and we bootstrapped it. We bootstrapped it almost to $5 million revenue run rate, and then we realized that actually there is a pretty interesting market. To grow it further, though, we'll need to get some outside capital. We need to hire a professional sales team, enterprise sales reps, and so on. So by that time we were already 5 million. So we were getting a lot of inbound interest from growth equity type investors, Insight and Bain Capital and Summit Partners and stuff. So we ended up going with Summit Partners, and then we raised that. That was the only round we raised, and then we grew the company from at about 5 million revenue to about 50 million revenue in the next 7 years.
Got it. So in hindsight, do you think that bootstrapping the company was the right decision for you, or do you think you should have raised capital sooner and grown faster?
Depending on the market, for my current business, I don't think that bootstrapping would have been a good idea because the market is evolving really fast and lots of competitors and so on. But in that space, in the enterprise software space that we were in around SAP, I think bootstrapping was the right way to do this. We were able to. It's a slower moving market, and we were able to still grow and keep a lot of equity in the company, and still able to succeed and build the technology and everything that we needed to do. Yeah.
So what happened to you ran a company for about 14 years, from what I could make out from your LinkedIn profile. I don't know if that's correct or not. But what happened to Winshuttle at the end?
Yeah, so by the end, around 2018, so the Summit was kind of nearing their end of the life for the fund, and as a founder, I was kind of bored with the same thing for so many years. So we said, okay, we'll figure out an exit story for this, and we ended up selling it to a PE firm. You may have heard of Symphony Technology Group, STG, and they acquired the company, and they're a private equity firm, and kind of they apply the private equity playbook, and But one of the things that was nice was by the time that exit came, I had the entire leadership team set up. So I was able to simply step out of the company at the time of the sale. So that's kind of how it happened. It was a nice exit for Summit. It was a nice exit um, for the founders, for most of the team, the leadership team, and the initial early team.
So Winshuttle as a product still continues?
Yeah. So then they applied their actually. So they Symphony, then they apply their PE playbooks, and then they grew it, and I think I think it's 5 or 6x what they bought it for. They sold it again in the next 4 years. So between when they acquired us and between when they sold it, it was they grew it about 5x, and then they sold it recently to a company called Precisely, which is a roll up of a bunch of this data quality, data management solutions, and Winshuttle is a big part of that now. And so the company is called Precisely, and it's still it's not public yet, but I think they will go public at some point.
So would you recommend, I mean, when you were $5 million of revenue, you could have also raised money from a VC firm versus a growth equity firm, and they have different playbooks in terms of how they manage these companies and so forth. Given what you know now, having raised money from a VC firm for Pictory, do you feel that that was the right decision at that point, or would you have been better off working with a VC firm?
The needs are different at different stages. So when you're already 5 million, I think you're trying to kind of figure out the scale. And I mean, it's a Series B company almost. So and usually, like, at that stage, you're trying to figure out, okay, how to hire the next CFO, and how you're gonna build an enterprise sales team and scale this up. So an early stage VC may not have been an ideal, like a Series A team may not have been ideal, and a Series B player might have been good. I mean, we talked to a lot of different VCs at that time, because, as I said, we were getting a lot of inbound interest. This also one of the other things that the growth equity firms are open to doing is a secondary capitalization. So you can take some money off the table at that time. And we didn't need all the money that we raised in our balance sheet, so we were able to take some money off the table because we struggled with it. We put our houses on second and third mortgage to acquire the technology, so we were able to kind of get some liquidity out of that.
Right. Got it. All right. Let me now turn it over to Gabri to kind of, you have very different career path with Pictory.ai. So let Gabri take us through that.
Thanks, Shirish. So, Vikram, that was almost a slow burn approach, right? Winshuttle was. This one, you jumped ahead of the AI hype, right? Right when I met you, this was already on that path. Was this idea to start an AI company because you came from traditional enterprise software? It's not like you came from AI or etc. Where did this germinate? You have your entrepreneurial chops, but that means that you would do something similar. But this one was blasting out of something which was unclear at that point. It'll get anywhere. So where did this idea start, and why you decided this one?
Yeah, completely different. The One of the things I realized is it was a challenge that I had personally, making and editing videos, because towards my last few years at Winshuttle, I became more of a thought leader, and I was creating a lot of content and webinars and all that stuff. And whenever I needed to edit the webinar or even create a new piece of content, one of the things we all realized probably in the last like decade, or that content has shifted, right? About 10 years ago, if you did a white paper, that was a great piece of content. Blogs and white papers were great pieces of content. Now, blogs are still good for content marketing purposes, but people have gravitated towards different forms of media, and video is kind of the media that is winning, right? So we notice like the amount of traction and the engagement that we would get on text content had just like dramatically gone down. People wanted more videos. People wanted short form videos, and we've seen the shift in social media too. Like it was Twitter, Instagram, then TikTok. Although all of that still exists, but that there have been that phases of the journey, and so I was personally struggling with it because I wanted to create more videos, but I like in this company that we built with 300 people, we had one video person, and everybody would be lining up in front of her cube to help with the video making process, and it was just I felt that was a pain point. So where the similarity came to me from the Winshuttle days was, in the Winshuttle days, we were solving this same problem for business people who were waiting for IT programmers. I need data out of SAP. I'm going to line up in front of my ABAP programmer and help him get that. And I saw the same pattern repeat in the video world. I was like, I need a video. I'm going to line up in front of this one designer who knows how to make videos. And I felt like this is, it can have a very similar impact if you make the process of creating videos and editing videos very easy. It can have the same impact as we had in the data management world of SAP. So that was kind of my pattern matching there that I did. Traditional video tooling is all this timeline editors, which I have gotten lost in so many times. Like if you're going to take this Riverside recording and try to create little clips from it, you're going to probably bring it into Adobe Premiere or Camtasia or something, and then there's going to be this whole timeline, and you find the right start time, the right end timestamp, and just it's so time consuming and it's so confusing that we felt that there has to be a better way than the timeline editor, and we wanted to have something that a PowerPoint user could do. So a business person who's familiar with Excel and Word and PowerPoint should be able to do videos. And that's the paradigm we kind of started with. And we realized that early on, there has to be a lot of AI in the mix. Now, this was pre-GPT days, but we started experimenting with models like BERT and Elmo and the ones that were coming out from Google and AI2 here in Seattle, and we started experimenting with those and how we could use that to understand somebody's piece of content, text content, and then try to create a video from that, or help use that to edit a video. So that's kind of it was early stages. I realized that, but I think we wanted to kind of bring that productivity increase, a significant productivity increase that to the users.
So I get what problem you solve, but you spent 14 years in quote unquote legacy software SAP. There's still a ton of money to be made. People wake up thinking how to mine that gold, right? You could have done any of it after the exit, and you had the credibility. You had grown the company to 50 million, but you decided you're going to start something from total scratch, largely white space, yet to be proven. Do you feel like because you already did this stint with Winshuttle, you had the energy to do it? Because most entrepreneurs we meet, after a long stint, just lack the energy to go after a white space problem. They go after large established problems where they can make big impacts, or at least they think. Here you were taking in a at best emerging when you started. I remember talking to you, and it was even unclear you'll ever emerge into anything at that point when you guys were so early. It was early,
Yeah.
beyond almost TikTok-ish early. So how'd you pick this one
Yeah.
to go after?
Again, driven by the problem, really, and you're right, absolutely. That and I started this, by the way, when I turned 50, so it was already kind of.
So you didn't want to buy a
It-
Harley, you'll start a company, you thought.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Or you could think of it as the midlife crisis,
Crisis,
but
yeah.
uh, I think, and I'll be kind of honest with you and the audience. I felt like that buying the company previously, that the
Yeah.
technology, I kind of missed out on the early stage
Ah.
of the fun, the product
Mm,
market fit. So
mm,
I felt like I wanted to build something from 0 to 1,
mhm,
as opposed to kind of acquire something and then build it from 1 to 100.
mhm.
So that 0 to 1 phase I wanted to experience, and that was I think that was the chip on my shoulder that I needed to kind of heal.
Great. So let's kind of move into Pictory, right? Can you walk us through the journey of to what you saw was the one problem you could solve with the product, how it's evolved? Then we'll get into who you're targeting next. First, let's kind of understand the solution and the evolution of your solution from you started to where it is now.
Yeah, it's kind of linked to the target market a lot. So I'll cover both of those things in the
Mm-hmm.
same thread. Um, so initially, I was thinking, hey, it'll be like these thought leaders, these content creators, product marketers who need to create videos, and the thought always has been, how can you help repurpose existing pieces of content into video, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
thinking of video as a new piece of content. So
Mm-hmm.
because we're all sitting on tons of content, we've written stuff, we've recorded stuff, we have podcasts, we have webinars, and how can we repurpose that? And so that was the problem statement in the very beginning. And the first solution set we started building was text to video, so a written form content like a blog to video. And the way we did it was, uh, we would understand the blog with NLP, summarize it into a few sentences. Then we take the summarized thing, and we search through stock library of images. We started with just Google image search, but then we've made that a lot more sophisticated. So we've licensed content from things like Getty and Shutterstock and that, and then we search the right content based on the text that you've given, and we stitch it together. And these are stock videos, so they each have motion elements in there, and then we stitch. Say it comes back with 5 sentences. You'll have 5 scenes, each one telling part of the story, and then that becomes the basis of the video. Then we add a voiceover to it. If you want your own voice, you can record your own voice, or you can apply a text to speech voice. And then we stylize the captions and all that stuff, and put it all together. Add a piece of music. So that was kind of the initial solution that we built, is that text to video, and it's still the um, and I'll tell you kind of the Chat GPT story later on. And but that is still the core of our product, is still the text to video. Uh, and Yeah.
So you started with creators, right? Because there were a lot of bloggers and email lists and all. So you started with creators. Seems like you're evolving from that. And then where did the shift happen in trying to find that product market fit, even though the target audience originally was creators, they're going after the creator economy?
Yeah, I so go back because we hadn't come from the creator background. We didn't like we came from the enterprise background, so we were trying to sell to enterprises before, but the product wasn't quite there yet. So the early adopters ended up being the creators and the SMB market. So we felt we had a really good product market fit that we found in that segment among the creator segment. And that took us about a year to kind of discover that, because we kept iterating to the enterprise marketers and the enterprise thought leaders, and that we were not quite getting it. But then as soon as we went after the creators, it clicked. We went from in 2021, we went from 50 paying customers to 5,000 paying customers in a matter of 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's when we knew, okay, we have something, and for this market, that may not be what our ideal long-term market is. So then we kind of continued to service that segment, the small business marketers, the small course creators, people who are creating small agencies who are helping others create content and so on. And then now we've started to say, okay, is our platform ready to go up market? And can we go after the enterprise marketer, the L&D professionals, the learning and development people? So that's kind of our next phase of the journey is helping move into the enterprise.
So you're serving both now, the SMB creators, some sort of prosumer to SMB to small businesses, while you are exploring the B2B enterprise segment. Is that fair to say?
Exactly. Yeah. And we have a handful of customers in the enterprise segment already. So we're using that as like a seed and trying to figure out, okay, how can we grow this part?
So, Q4 2022, the world explodes with ChatGPT, right? And suddenly, what you do is the most. Every developer in the world wakes up thinking, I can make video better with AI, right? Including OpenAI. So, how did you guys think of it? It could be one hand, it could be validation, but really, they had lot of money. I mean, lots of money.
Yeah. So we had just reached our $1 million ARR run rate in November of 22. So when ChatGPT came out, so we were like, okay, and we'd been growing about 15% month over month. So we knew that we had some traction and stuff. And then some of our customers, because these are early adopters, like the creator economy is early adopters on every technology. So they some of our customers created some videos that they showed that, hey, I can use ChatGPT and Pictory together and create videos, create my blog, create my YouTube channel that way. So the idea is, have ChatGPT give you the script for the video. You put the script into Pictory, and Pictory will turn that into a video, and you can have basically a video in a matter of minutes. And then we did some campaigns around that as well, and that just like that imagination, people like went wild with that. So so November of 22, we were $1 million run rate. By November of 23, we were at 7 million run rate.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had an incredible 2023, and driven by this whole generative AI wave, and it wasn't like so obviously there's a lot of people who saw that and they say they could do it. So we saw a lot of competition emerge. We have seen a lot of new entrants in the market of video creation. Obviously, there is a lot of like generative videos now that are being looked at with companies like Runway and Pika and stuff. So, but our approach has been slightly different. We're not going after Hollywood and the very creative segment of the market. We're staying after the business users and helping you create your videos that like think about how you can might create your PowerPoint slides more engaging, or how you can make your your storytelling narrative more engaging. But it's not Hollywood style videos. That's kind of what the runway and the folks are going after. So what my hope is now is, a lot of the generative tools, even the imagery and the video generative, we want to be able to use them in our videos because we built the whole infrastructure around it. We have great ways to stitch it all together into a nice video. We can understand the text. We can understand what you're trying to do, and we kind of build a small brand in this space. People think of us as the number one AI video creator tool out there, and so we want to kind of continue on that path and see how we can leverage some of the Gen AI technologies more and more. And we're already starting to do that in our text understanding. We switched from the Bird and Elmo models to the LLMs, and even for the text to speech, we were using some of the generative AI models. So
this funding journey you had mentioned was different than your previous startup, Winshuttle. For our audience, can you walk through how you went through that journey here? Because you were early, you were still discovering a product market fit. So what was the funding journey for Pictory.ai?
So we did put some founder capital into place in the first couple of years because we were fortunate to be able to afford that. So that was our initial 2 years. We didn't go for any outside funding. And then when we did get that traction, that 2021 story that I told you about, from 50 to 5,000 customers. And we felt like, there is some advantage to scaling up here. It's not a slow burn journey. This is not going to be one of those things because the market dynamics are very different here. And so then we started talking to some VCs, and in fact, so we started talking in the spring, but then we got this product market fit traction through the summer. So then I went back in the fall to start the conversations again, and then people saw the difference in the number of customers and the traction and stuff, and it was very quick. Then after that, we were able to raise a seed round with Fuse in Bellevue, and it's been and then because the business kept growing and the MRR kept coming, we didn't have to actually dip into the funding that we raised. Yeah. So although we've raised $5.5 million total so far, we've spent only $1 million. So to get to $7.5 million MRR. Yeah.
And is the company largely spread over the globe, or very Seattle centric, or what's the strategy to keep it so capital efficient?
Yeah, it's our entire engineering team is in India, so that really helps. And we started in the middle of the pandemic, so it's remote first. And even in India, we were able to find engineers we didn't have to just find engineers in Bangalore. We could find people anywhere. So we have people in Banaras, in Nagpur, anywhere in the country. So that really helps, having remote engineering. And that's the same model we had at Winshuttle too. It wasn't remote, but it was the entire engineering team was in India.
Let's dig into a little bit into this remote work, right? You're a startup, and you're moving at rocket ship pace in a very cutting edge technology, AI. So there's this battle of hybrid versus remote versus in office, right? How are you as the leader of Pictory.ai managing that from an employee's perspective, right? Because this seems like a tricky one, and seems to have impact on attracting talent.
Yeah, so far I feel like it had a positive impact on attracting talent because
Mm-hmm.
we've been able to attract people from anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and like our even even if I take off the engineering team in India, we have a pretty globally spread out employee base. Like our customer success head is in Ukraine. We have one of our designers who is in Thailand, and it's just we've tried to find really good people anywhere. So to some degree, I feel that as an advantage. Obviously, the communication and the time zone is the biggest challenge. So somebody is always compromising on time zone. So we start in Seattle. We start very early. The India team works late, and that's kind of how we're able to manage it. We're trying to do more. So the thing that you have to do is more over communication. So I have like daily huddles. Every team has daily huddles. We were in on Slack all the time. We have uh, monthly online and all hands, and then we're trying to do at least like physical all hands at least once every 6 months. We all get together. And different teams get together. So you have to kind of apply all kinds of hacks to make it work.
Excellent. Because that seems like a discovery, whether you're a small company or a big company. It seems like the culture that you're trying to build in this new world order is seems like a discovery a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, as you as a leader in the video creation space now, um, you have the big players of Microsoft, Google, etc., who all have lots of other tools and therefore videos to attack this market. Do you see them helping you grow as a company because they will spread the word? They may not have the same tools you have. For sure, they'll spread the word. How do you see them? Do they see you in good partnership? Is there a go-to-market opportunity with the bigger AI players, whether it be Microsoft, Google, or anybody else, that Adobe, etc., who all have
Yeah.
this base?
Yeah, I see that as like our key opportunity here in go to market is getting in front of the distribution thing. So one of the things that a lot of companies have done now is create these marketplace opportunities. So
Hmm.
as an example, actually, I'll give you a very pertinent example. We're going live with Pictory GPT. So
Ah,
they have the custom GPT store now, and
yeah.
this week, tomorrow, we're launching Pictory GPT as on the GPT store. So to us,
Uh-huh.
it's a great distribution channel. It's a great place where people will hang out, find us,
So this is
and
the OpenAI's marketplace, right? That's what you're talking. Just
OpenAI's
for
marketplace.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. But
yeah.
they announced it a
And
few months ago.
just this month, actually, in
Yeah.
January, early on, they announced that, and so we were able to build that and launch it on the store.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
um, but similarly to that, like Canva has announced a marketplace, so we want to be part of the Canva's marketplace. We want to be part of Microsoft has a marketplace for Teams product. We want to be part of that marketplace. So I see I see very interesting opportunities to be in all these different marketplaces, and I see that as a good kind of distribution channel for us. And I want to be in the HubSpot marketplace. I want to be in the Salesforce marketplace. That kind of stuff.
Excellent. So, Vikram, you started this early. The AI boom has propelled you into the leadership position. What's the vision that now you see for Pictory.ai?
Yeah, so I think going back to why we originally started this, right? We felt it should be part of an office productivity suite, video creation and stuff, and and part of the reason why I felt like there's been waves of video tools, including like the desktop tools like Premiere and stuff, and then things like Animoto, and which moved that same paradigm to the cloud. And the thing that's been missing in most of these places has been the idea that you already have so much content, and the purpose of video is not video alone. It's actually to make your content more engaging. Whether you are a BCG consultant who is creating PowerPoint slides no end, or whether you are a marketer writing blogs, you want to make that content more engaging. People will watch it. People will spend more time on it. And to us, that's kind of the mission that we're on, is like, how can we help that? How can we be on every desktop right next to PowerPoint out there, that here's how you make your Word documents or your PowerPoint content more engaging, and add videos to that, by the way. So that's kind of the story here. And
awesome. Because you're in that inflection, right? We've sort of, one could argue TikTok is the largest media company in the world, growing at a pace that dwarfs others, etc., which is all video. And there's a whole generation of people growing up just on video, right? And our consumption of it at a rapid pace. And YouTube is still growing, right? It could be as big a company as Google if it's a standalone company.
And it's a second biggest search engine, right? As you probably heard about.
Yeah. So seems like you're in that inflection point, but this you have this larger target audience you're serving, a prosumer to an enterprise buyer. How, as a leader, are you able to serve this vast majority of needs from a product perspective?
Yeah, that's going to be the highest challenge, and that's where we're going to be, kind of, because you can't be everything to everyone, and
Yes.
and that will be the thing. So we are picking our ICPs very carefully. We're saying, hey, there are these 2 or 3 ICPs that we want to serve really well. The marketer, the educator, and the internal communication person, and we are, if we get those 3 ICPs right, and if we get their use cases right, we're going to have an entry into the enterprises, and we'll have a right to kind of play in a bigger space.
Great. Vikram, thank you very much for your time. I really think that everybody out there should think of starting companies for a midlife crisis like you did. and you're proving one thing, that age is but a number. You're starting a company when you could just be golfing or doing something else, but you're saying, especially after your successful exit. So that's, I think, is the most inspiring part of your journey, but whether it be with Winshuttle or Pictory. It's incredible, and I'm glad that you're in Seattle and adding to our ecosystem and of entrepreneurs and growing it. Thank you very much, Vikram.
Thank you, Gauri, and I'm really excited to be part of TIE, and however I can support it. I'm the charter member. I'm happy to support entrepreneurs in the community and help out any which way.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Shirish.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for listening to our podcast From Startup to Exit, brought to you by TIE Seattle. Assisting in production today are Isha Jain and Mini Verma. Please subscribe to our podcast and rate our podcast wherever you listen to them. Hope you enjoyed it.